same thing. We have to make sure that every win is important. She has the highest winning percentage amongst WNBA coaches and has the most playoff wins as well. Definitely understands the importance of winning. So the Lynx start off with the basketball. You're just joining us. Angel Gray alongside Mary Murphy. And Mary, as we said in the lineup at the beginning, a lot of bodies have changed, but it's important. This is a big rivalry.
Yeah, we talked to Nneka after shoot-around, and she spoke to that point that, yeah, we know this team. We've been to battle with this team. She goes, I don't know how many times I've matched up with Sylvia Fowles, so there is a level of familiarity for sure.
Sid weaves all the way to the bucket, but Sylvia Fowles right there to deny that one. And it's stepping out by Talbot. But for the Lynx, heading the charge, Cheryl Reeve in her 10th season, as I said before, has the highest winning percentage in the WNBA, as well as the most playoff wins, and is really, even with the pieces missing, Simone Augustus coming back after injury, and Damaris Dantas coming back after injury, as well as Simone Augustus and Maya Moore being out. She has done a great job with this young lineup.
There's no doubt about it. Keep in mind that she wears two hats. She's the general manager as well. She was elevated to that position December of 2017. This is a Minnesota team that has had 16 different players on their roster at some point during the course of the season because of many of the situations that you've talked about. So you're just not about the team that's on the floor. You got to be thinking about what you're trying to put together as well, with the ins and outs and injuries and everything else going on with them.
Sparks have the ball at top of the key with 8 on the shot clock. Tierra Ruffin-Pratt against Talbot, and that's short. Sparks 0 for 2 to start the game, looking to bounce back after the 0-2 road trip against Dallas and Chicago. But as we said before, Chicago did win the game tonight, which has them tied for 4th with the Sparks. But the Sparks do have the series win over them. Outside shot for Candace Parker, no good.
You saw Minnesota get the ball into Fowles right away. If you can get her involved, all the better. Almost 60% from the floor, doing what she does so well.
Candace Parker pushing it out to Chelsea Gray. Great transition defense by the Lynx. Tierra Ruffin-Pratt working the baseline. Great ball movement for the Sparks. 10 on the shot clock. Candace Parker with her patent fadeaway, but that is no good. Misses everything on the shot.
Collier is an outstanding defender.
Talbot off the glass, doesn't get it to go. Chelsea Gray pushing it all the way up, but literally quarterbacked it straight to Talbot.
It looked like preseason football right there.
And what a heads-up play by Dantas to find Collier underneath. No one defending her. And we said the importance of each game. Communication is where you have to start to have a good start.
No doubt about it. And this is a big lineup starting this ball game for Minnesota. Lots of length.
A lot of contact, and the officials agree. That's going to be the first foul that goes against Felicia Collier. And Nneka Ogwumike will step up to the free throw line. Felicia Collier, I mean, the only rookie to be an all-star, having a tremendous rookie debut in this league.
But what's most impressive, there's so many things. Almost 33 minutes a game, has started every ball game for Minnesota. I mean, that's a lot of minutes. And you think about the schedule that she had in college, didn't go to the all-star game. So not a lot of time to rest. It's amazing what she's done so far this season. It did go to the All-Star game, so didn't have a break.
It's very interesting as Nneka Ogwumike knocked down the 2 free throws to tie this. And the ball is dribbled off the foot, they say, of Odyssey Sims. But it's very interesting when you get the head nod as a rookie from one of the most prolific scorers in the league, in Simone Augustus, and she said, usually rookies hit a wall at some point, but she hasn't seen that in Felicia Collier, and it's praised her for what she's brought to this team, and even showing those vocal skills for her team as well.
And the matchup, Collier, we've seen a lot of teams of late do this, trying to put a big and with lots of length on Chelsea Gray.
Even in away games, I can always count on a text from Mary Murphy to tell me the lineups, as it's a foul on the baseline. Odyssey Sims forcing the issue on the baseline.
We'll go back to Dallas when Glory Johnson was guarding Gray. Puts it on the floor, and this is a player who all she knows is attack mode.
Odyssey Sims, the last 5 games, 12 points, 20, 17, 10, and 30 against Seattle, where she had the third quarter breakout. 8 for 8, perfect from the field in that quarter.
18 points in a quarter.
Tied the WNBA game for that. Incredible effort by her. And Sparks hope to cool her down, and that she's left that in Seattle. Chelsea Gray bringing the ball up for the Sparks. As you said before, Naficia Collier has that matchup, and fouls is on Agumike. Sid Weiss, long. Collier picks up her second rebound. So, Mary, you said at the very beginning that the Lynx should look for Sylvia fouls in the paint, and they've done that so far.
It was interesting when you talk to the Lynx folks. The point is, you're going to know right away how involved fouls is going to get, because if they get her early touches, if she's aggressive, she's setting the table. It's a tough matchup for Chelsea, trying to guard Collier down low. I mean, Angel, this is a tough team to defend, because you put a smaller player, Chelsea Gray on Collier, they're going to invert and look to post Collier up.
As she goes back to the block to see if she can get the same thing from Tierra Ruffenpratt. Swing it around the rim, around the perimeter. Using Sylvia fouls with 4 on the shot clock, but a turnover and a quick dish out to Candace Parker, who gets the 2. And now have the lead in the game. The previous 2 were only from the free throw line. So Candace Parker said, I love transition points, and that's exactly what she got here.
She sure does, and did not play in the first meeting in Minneapolis because of the injury. And that's got to feel good. Nice hustle getting back, unable to influence that shot, but Parker has struggled offensively over the last couple games. So wherever you can get some easy points, get them.
Candace Parker, 8 points, 4 and 5. In the last 3 games as Talbot lines up from the outside. Bounce was no good. And once again, a dish out to Candace Parker. She tracks it down, but Damaris Dantas steals the ball. 2 turnovers for the Sparks. Quick dish inside by Sylvia Fowles. Cleans up her own shot. Trying to get it over Neko Gumike, and does.
Talked about those 2. Sylvia has played 25 games in her career against Los Angeles. I mean, they have seen each other a whole bunch.
Six on the shot clock. Candace Parker going all the way to the lane, puts it up and gets it to go.
A lot of Sparks fans are sitting back, feeling a little better after that move by Candace.
Chelsea Gray has a matchup on Sims. Quickly a double team on Naficia Collier. But somehow, some way, gets the ball back and gets it to go.
And once the double left, beautiful job by Minnesota coming back inside.
And great communication by her as well, dishing it out and demanding it as Chelsea Gray finds a lane but cannot convert. And the Lynx push it in transition, find fouls. Sims looking for fouls underneath. Gets it, and another bucket for Sylvia Fowles. Sylvia Fowles now has 4 points, 2 for 4 from the field.
Over the last 4 games, Sylvia Fowles has averaged 6 field goal attempts. 4 already. Candace Parker loves being back at Staples. Puts it on the floor, shreds the interior defense. And then inside, it's Collier, the rookie, maybe the rookie of the year, looking good in the early going.
Welcome back. Well, the Sparks hosting the Lynx, and you hear those 2 teams And it's not as nice as everyone is assuming. This is one of the biggest rivalries in WNBA history. Met in the playoffs last 4 seasons, including the 2016 and 17 in the WNBA Finals. And if you wanted to get even deeper, the WNBA MVPs 4 of the last 6 seasons. You see them there coming from the Lynx as well as the Sparks. Mary, we've seen some amazing basketball from these two teams.
We really have, and it goes back to 2015. Minnesota was champions that year. They beat LA in the first round. 2016, LA won 3-2 in the finals. Minnesota 3-2 and 17, and last year LA beat Minnesota in the first round.
He was there for a Lynx championship as well as Sparks when they won it in 2016. And what an amazing game. That one went to the buzzer with Nneka Ogwumike knocking that shot down, and that's one to definitely remember. As Chiney Ogwumike steps to the free throw line. And the first one is good.
Chiney's been coming off the bench with the return of Parker and the Diva coming off the bench as well, and has struggled certainly the last 4 games. Saw her before the game, and what she told us is, I need to just get back to doing what I do. Get out there, play with a whole lot of energy.
That was very interesting, too, with Derek Fisher saying, my message to the team is you have to look at yourself in the mirror and see what you need to apply. And this team, as Damaris Dantas knocks down that 15-footer, then you have to make sure that you're taking responsibility for yourself. Here, Rutherford with a beautiful spin, but cannot finish at the rim. But Chiney Ogwumike doing what she said she told you, taking care of her business.
That's exactly right, and that's what she does best. Energy plays, create offense from a miss.
All the way to the rim. No contact. Nneka Ogwumike with the rebound. Nneka going against Sylvia Fowles. Can't find anything. 10 on the shot clock. 2-man game between Chelsea Gray and Nneka. And they can't walk away with 2 points there. Odyssey Sims in transition. Pops. And as smooth as butter, gets it to go.
Set the tempo.
That's something that Derek Fisher said. He said, how can you contain Odyssey Sims? He said, she's the scorer, so she knows what she can do, but transition, very big for them.
Dantas looking for the switch. He wants Collier to come back and guard Gray. Couldn't make it happen.
Chelsea Gray lets it go on Damaris Dantas as the shot clock was winding down to 4. So is it a 3 or 2? And they have motion that it's a 2.
Looks like the foot is on the line. This is going to be a 2-point shot, but Dantas wanted to switch back, could not find someone to, as she was looking at Collier like, please come help me.
The officials are looking at the play right now, but I don't think it'll take that long. Both feet, as we saw from the monitors from the truck, at the right and the left toe were on the 3-point line.
Yeah, that's
easy peasy. That's one of their quicker ones.
Some are more difficult. That was not.
Chelsea Gray, a 93% free throw shooter, who has been the stability for this team. If you are a military woman or veteran, we want to let you know our community supports you. Find your safety zone at LA County MVA. To talk to a veteran service officer, call 1-800-4LA-VETS. Chelsea Gray gets 2 to go with the Lynx holding a 1-point edge over the Sparks with a little under 2:30 left in this first quarter.
Trap up top.
Collier working the baseline, a lot of bounce. It's a free-for-all on the floor. Who comes up with it? Well, it's going to be called a jump ball. With Nafisia Collar and Chiney Ogwumike. Like to see the hustle there. That's why they have the stats for that play as well. And you like to see those type of plays, especially coming down to the last few games, going into the playoffs. You're building that toughness.
Good to see Elena Beard take the floor, first time at home in quite some time. They Danielle Robinson to her left. When we talk about some energy off the bench for Minnesota, started most of the season, has come off the bench the last 6.
And has scored double figures in 3 of the last 5 games. Just because she's coming off of the bench doesn't mean that she doesn't understand that she has to contribute offensively. Danielle Robinson with the ball at the top of the key. Seeing some zones here from the Sparks. Danielle Robinson with 3 on the shot clock. And Chelsea Gray comes up with the rebound. Bounce pass intended for Tiara Ruffenfrack, but found the foot.
We saw Coach Nurse do that with Toronto in the NBA Finals. I thought we might see more of it in the WNBA season. We have not seen it much in Sparks games.
Another player that a lot of WNBA fans are happy to see is Simone Augustus, who had her season debut on August 6th after missing quite some time with the arthroscopic surgery on her right knee. And Nneka Ogwumike on the boards and doing what she does, scores 2.
This is the first game of Simone Augustus' career that she has come off the bench.
I just remember seeing her in 2006 and beyond, and that's one of the players that you have to tip your hat to. There's a foul on the floor. And that's going to be against Chiney Ogwumike. But going back to Simone Augustus, I mean, what hasn't she done at this point? She passed Becky Hammond on the scoring list for 10th in August. And she was one of the most prolific scorers. We talked about it before the game. Her mid-range game can't be compared to anyone. She's one of the best.
Without a doubt. And coming into this game, had played in 364 games for Minnesota in her career, and she had started every one of them tonight, coming off the bench.
So with the free throw, we're tied here again at 14. Approaching the 1-minute mark here in the first quarter, as Elena Beard with a high arch finds the bottom of the bucket. We already said, coming off that 10-point game, she is very much needed for this team, not just defensively, but offensively.
Boy, at shoot-around, they could not have emphasized that lob pass to Sylvia Fowles enough.
Alexis Jones outside. Hits the back of the rim.
I think she's fired up to play tonight.
Well, you see a lot, especially when Odyssey Sims is coming at you. And that was the trade between the Sparks and the Lynx, guard for guard. 36 on the game clock, 14 on the shot clock, as Maria Vadiva now enters the game for the Sparks for the first time this evening, and Lexi Brown subs in for Odyssey Sims. Simone Augustus, short on the mid-range shot. Chelsea Gray surveying the floor, trying to make things happen as Chiney Ogwumike comes up for the pick. A lot of bodies around Chiney. Maria Vadiva tries to clean up, but gets the foul called underneath, and that's what it comes down to, those second chance opportunities.
Exactly right, and the rotation created the opportunity on that weak side for the rebound and the foul. And the Diva's been solid. Missed all those games. Back with Eurobasket with Russia, and then the knee injury.
It's interesting to even hear what Derek Fisher was saying. Had the 24 points in her career high with the Sparks in the first game against Las Vegas. Misses games for Eurobasket, comes back, and he said, now we have to implement her and see what this team is like now on this second half of the team and what that looks like for her. So she's still understanding what this team needs of her, but offense is definitely there. 10 on the shot clock, 10 on the game clock. Danielle Robinson passes it to Cheryl Reeves, and I'm not sure she was happy or ready to shoot. Alexis Jones finds a way to draw the foul, putting the ball on the floor. Alexis Jones has this swag about her.
Well, the ability to get this shot off against Danielle Robinson, an outstanding defender, and draw that contact.
When you look at Alexis Jones, you see guts, confidence, missed games with her knee injury as well. But not once has hesitated on what she needs to do on the offensive end. Misses the second free throw, and that will do it for the first quarter. Sparks up 4.
Solid first quarter by Los Angeles. They did a great job of taking care of the basketball. Got out in transition, got Parker involved, and going to fouls early, trying to make some things happen.
Welcome back to Staples Center. Well, the first quarter had 5 lead changes, tied 2 times, and both teams shooting about 31-33% from the floor. And Candace Parker, looking at the last couple games, she's been huge, but the last 3, they've needed a little bit more from her.
Well, when she plays well, LA plays well. She didn't score much against Chicago. It was just 2 for 9 shooting, 5 points, but did have 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 block shots. So still filling up that stat sheet. And a good start here. 4 points, 3 rebounds. And I misspoke on that rollout. That was not Sylvia Fowles. That was Collier.
Well,
with that pretty little step back.
That is nice. Either way, it's Alexis Jones rather stepping up. We talked about her confidence, showing it there.
The bench has been terrific so far for Los Angeles. 10 points out of the 20 for LA.
Air ball by Collier. 10 on the shot clock as they're moving the ball still around the perimeter. Find Dantas in the same spot. And that one does fall for the Lynx.
Beautiful job spreading the floor.
You know, both teams can shoot from the outside, but that was the first 3 for either. 6 on the shot clock. AB dialing up her own number. That would have been pretty if it fell for her. Sims, no doubt, has a lot of attention coming at her, but Collier with another 2 and a lot of contact as AB is slow to get up off the floor.
What a catch. Fouls just surrounded. Terrific ability to get the ball out of there.
I mean, there were 3 jerseys, Sparks jerseys around Fowles, and rightly so. I mean, she draws so much attention there. 1, 2, 3.
That's a crowd. Had a lot of contact with Beard. No call. Continuation by Collier. Boy, she's tough.
I wouldn't want to guard her. I mean, she is putting on a show.
I don't want her guarding me.
Great size, 6 foot, out of Connecticut, champion, and comes up with the steal. Going right at AB once again and gets another one to go. Nafisa Collier with 8 points, leading all Lynx players and the high score for either team.
Just the 3rd turnover for Los Angeles, but that's Minnesota's game. They lead the WNBA in force and turnovers at 16 plus a game.
Sydney Weiss, beautiful pass underneath, and Chinea Gumake trying to get her footing. It turns the ball over underneath. And it's a 3-on-2 for the Lynx. Sims. Outside shot does not fall.
Beautiful job by Vadiva recognizing and getting out to the shooter, just not running back to the paint.
Didn't Fisher tell us her maturity level on the defensive end has been the most outstanding?
Alexis Jones goes right by all the interior defense of Minnesota.
With Sims on the guard, you think this game means something to her?
There's a little extra edge for both, I'm sure.
Beautiful defense by Maria Vadiva, knowing exactly where it was going to go. It doesn't have much on the offensive end. Alexis Jones
feeling it. Right like, I love my life.
I mean, feeds a hot hand. Alexis Jones is incredible right now. And as you said before, coming off the bench, Sid Wheat adding 2 of her own, 15 points from the bench.
Sid Wheat on the serious side after photobombing our open.
And that's going to lead to a Lynx timeout, and rightfully so. And that surge was led by none other than Alexis Jones, who's been on fire.
Coming off the bench, 5 minutes, 8 points. Playing against her old team, trying to make a point, puts her head down. Beautiful screen, lines it up, and knocks it down.
Coach Fisher says when your number is called, be ready to play. And we've seen that in Alexis Jones. Already has 8 points, 2 away from her season high, Mary.
First-round draft pick by Minnesota in 2017, and you can see why. 6 points in this second quarter. She has 8 overall. An aggressive mindset, focused, not overly emotional, just getting out there and playing very good basketball.
Very good basketball indeed, Mary. I mean, Alexis Jones has had stretches where she's had DNPs, hasn't been able to get in games, and really fighting through where she fits in on this roster. And she's definitely showing Coach Fisher that she deserves to be in the ballgame. 3 more bodies thrown at foul. 6 on the shot clock. But when in doubt, get it to foul.
If you're a guard, it's an important game to play well because Raquana Williams will come off her suspension. This is game 10 tonight. She will be back Thursday against Indiana. So you want to play well. Stay right in front of Derek Fisher's mind.
Absolutely. As Maria Badiva with the beautiful. Didn't look much like a young player in this league going at fouls.
A little bit of a hook with that elbow, but aggressive.
Strong effort by Maria Badiva. Make this a 6-point lead for the Sparks. Dantas outside shot, no good, but we know that she can definitely knock it down from the outside. Alexis Jones with the ball all the way to the rim, gets the contact. Nothing there. Odyssey Sims will pick up the foul.
When you can make a move like this against Sylvia Fowles, you've got game. Beautiful job of being aggressive, taking the advantage. Could have been an offensive foul with that hook because you can see she clearly plants and pulls away from it. But just great aggressiveness, just bring fouls away and then take it right back at her.
Badiva said, I'm still getting into a groove. Man, is it going to be scary when she finds it. She is definitely earning her points, and this could be point 10 for Jones, and she ties her season high. Nice hedge by Badiva. Recovers and gets the steal.
She's made 3 terrific defensive plays.
Alexis Jones. You see Sims guarding her a little bit tighter on that 3-point line. Badiva. One too many steps, hesitating on that 3-point shot, and lifts the feet, and the ball goes the other way. That's the 5th turnover for the Sparks, but a turnover like that, Mary, is something that Derek Fisher wants because the live ball turnovers is what feeds into the Lynx offense.
Absolutely. So that's the 5th turnover. 6 points off of them by the Lynx.
On the other side, 8 turnovers for the Lynx, 8 points for the Sparks. Deep steal by Fowles, but once again, Maria Badiva, what an effort on the defensive end.
Runs her inside.
Runs all the way down, but finds Alexis Jones. And just like that, gets her career high with 13. Her career high before was 11 points. What a show by Alexis Jones.
And I just love the attention of her teammates. They know how important this game is to her, and they are recognize that and saying, you just are doing a great job, each and every player. Swing the ball. You're in the corner already. Career high. Her teammates finding her, and she is delivering.
Welcome back to Staples. Well, Mary, you can kind of deem this the redemption game for either Sims or Alexis Jones, but Alexis Jones showing us why the Sparks are happy to have her here in LA.
13 points, 12 of them here in the second quarter. In this quarter, 3 of 4, 2 of 3 from distance, and 1 of 2 from the free throw line.
Wow. Getting it done.
In 5 minutes.
I mean, she's been incredible and aggressive and not hesitant at all.
Her career high coming in, 11. She has 12 in the quarter.
Great perspective.
It's a 14-2 run before that bucket there by Robinson.
The diva gets a nice pass from Chelsea Gray and knocks that one down.
24 of the 36 points for Los Angeles coming from the bench.
Well, coaches said time and time again, it takes a committee as Alexis Jones continues the show and finishes at the rim. That's all you can do at this point, Mary. Just laugh and see what she's done. We need more M&Ms up here. How many do we have left?
As a player, it's like a dream come true. You come in and just everything's working for you.
Chelsea Gray finds Candace. Deep three by Chelsea. And when she gets hot, as she gets her first or second bucket of the game, it gets a little scary. Simone Augustus finds Collier, and a lot of contacts in the back of Collier. Sierra Ruffin-Pratt got her in the back, but
little hesitation. Beats Danielle Robinson. Health departs. She goes to the rim. And Chelsea from deep. Bottoms up.
Beautiful reaction by Sid Weiss on the bench. I feel like we should have an ISO cam just with her reactions with the threes from the outside, knowing that she's a three-point specialist herself. Over the top, the fouls hasn't been going well for the Lynx so far. Chelsea Gray looking all the way in, close to a turnover. Gets the ball back. Nneka. Nothing there. Dials up again. First, you don't succeed. Try again.
She's padding those rebound numbers.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll have to talk to her about that.
23-4 run. It was 21-20 Minnesota. And then L.A. and Alexis Jones just said, we're going to need some separation.
Sparks playing some of their best basketball and coming off that road trip, going 0-2, talking to even Elena Beard. I said, what is it going to take from your team? She said, simplify the game. You've seen that tonight so far.
Well, the thing that everyone has talked about on that Sparks side is better starts. Against Dallas, 26-20 down at the end of the first quarter. Against the Sky Friday night, 25-18, a 7-point lead for the Sky. A much better start here this evening. And just trying to keep it going here in that second quarter. Bench point.
26-3. Not only can they score, but they got the dance moves as well, as we saw AD and Sid Weiss. Of course, DJ Mosky just kind of puts you in that place where you have to move a little bit.
Yeah, it's got a lot of 90s going on tonight.
Taking it back. 18-point lead for the Sparks. Shot clock dwindling down, and that's going to stay here. Reset at 14 for the Lynx.
Yeah, we were talking in shoot-around today. Chelsea Gray, every time we see her, haven't done a game in a week or so here at home, just seems to get in better and better shape, continuing to drop weight.
These workouts are definitely working. And a beautiful take to the basket. Crowd wanting the travel, but either way, you can't reverse that. 1, 2. That's just Lynx. Well, I don't know.
I'm giving her 3, but it's an aggressive move. And, hey, if they don't blow the whistle, you keep going.
You step up to the free throw line and knock them down. Is Timmy 5 points per game. And we'll see if she'll knock this one down, and can't.
Emily, who transferred to USC to pursue her master's out of Baltimore, went to Harvard. The job she did in Eurobasket led Great Britain to a 4th-place finish.
And she led the tourney in scoring as well. Returned July 14th versus Phoenix. And in the last 7 games, she's averaged 7 points, so she's certainly looking for her number on the offensive end.
Beautiful cut. Great pass.
Didn't take much time. Chelsea Gray had all day to finish that underneath.
The old flex cut. Come off of that. How many times are you open?
I remember the flex cut. Daniel Robinson. Simone Augustus dials up.
Mid-range.
Mid-range assassin.
That's right.
Those are the first 2 points for Simone Augustus. Great defense by D-Rob on Chelsea Gray, having her force an outside shot off balance. Lexi Brown, who erupted in that first matchup against the Spartans, going for 21. And that's been her season high.
5 of 8 from 3 in that ball game.
Trying to get something going with the shot clock dwindling down, but it leads to a turnover, and Chelsea Gray behind the back finds Candace to headband T, and that doesn't fall.
Everybody needs a nickname.
Well, they gave her the nickname Headband T after she knocked down 6 threes against Atlanta, but she's cooled off quite a bit, so you may have to go to TRP until she picks back up.
And there's no headband.
Well, there you have it. Can't have a nickname without the headband. Less than a minute here in the first half. Lexi Brown fumbles the ball, but still gets it off from the 3-point line, but it's short. Here, Ruffin Pratt doesn't like the odds there. Kicks it back out.
We talked about the Lynx getting fouls involved early, and since that, she hasn't been involved at all.
Guess who's involved now? Candace Parker. Now with 6 points. Struggled the last 3 games. But we're looking offensively, but she was doing so many other things, as you pointed out, Mary, to help her team. 14. Collier gets the ball blocked by Candace Parker. But somehow, some way, Lexi Brown gets the ball back and knocks down the outside shot. And the Sparks will call out a timeout. A little bit of confusion on the sideline. So the officials are trying to figure that out, but I think they're going to go to the scores table to make sure everything is right.
One of the little things that makes Nneka so impressive as a captain, as a person on the floor, she threw that pass and immediately touched her chest and said, "That's on me." And then again, when the play was over, looked at her teammate, tapped her chest, put her hand up and said, "That's my bad."
And a coach is the extension of the player's extension of the coach. But first we'll go here. Collier gets the ball blocked by Candace Parker and tipped on the inside by Timmy, and Lexi Brown gets a shot off, but then there was a whistle. So we're still trying to figure out what happened there. But as you said before, Mary, it was very interesting. Derek Fisher told you he's picked up, especially from the coaching from Phil Jackson, ownership and detail. Those are 2 things that you said Nneka has shown us in tonight's matchup.
It's just what she does so well, and we go all the way back to her time at Stanford, and it's the level that she holds herself to and her teammates to. And Coach Fisher talked a lot about Phil Jackson and what words and phrases stick with him as he continues his coaching career here with the Sparks.
Ownership and detail. That's what he's been hitting home for his team.
Every detail matters is the bottom line for him.
So out of that huddle, 5.5 left in the first half. Chelsea Gray looking like she wanted to launch it. Finds Candace Parker. easy as 1, 2, 3. Candace Parker for the nice layup to end the first half.
Find the matchup you want and then attack it. The inbounds. Parker likes the matchup against Pemi. Puts it down. Come across to help. His fouls, no matter.
Beautiful play, but let's see what Kirsten Watson picked up from
Thanks,
Coach.
Angel. Coach, you guys had 26 points off the bench. How impressive has this bench been?
More than impressive. You know, it's been rough for them. We've gotten out to some bad starts, and the bench minutes have been compressed, and they deserve a lot of credit for being ready to go tonight.
In the second quarter, you guys went on a 26-point run. What changed?
I just think our mindset coming into the game. You know, we started out a little slow, which we have in some games, but we didn't let our shots not going in offensively disrupt us defensively. We've gotten after it on that end, and that's why we have the lead.
Thanks, Coach.
Like I said, they have to grind it out. They did that in the first half. That will do it for the first half, though, with the score 49-32. Don't go anywhere. Access Sportnet is halftime covered with highlights, stats, and more after the break. Welcome back. About to get things started. It's been the Alexis Jones show, going off of her career high, sitting at 15 points, and Kirsten Watson has more on her story.
Thanks, Angel. So we talked about it a bit in the broadcast. You know, Alexis Jones was traded for Odyssey Sims earlier this year. And when she got here, Penny Toller gave her a call and she said, look, I want you to come to this team and I want you to be yourself. And we've seen it tonight. She's here. She's playing her game of basketball. And she's been phenomenal over the past couple weeks. Back to you.
Thank you. Phenomenal would be an understatement if you're looking at what she's been able to do in that first half. Can she keep it going in the second? Mary, you said it. She's been on fire. This could be one of those redemption games for her.
What I like most is that she's been aggressive. She's not just scoring, but she's getting to the free throw line. But they're taking it, so she has a great feel for what's going on.
What's very interesting, too, Mary, is that it doesn't look forced. Like, everything is coming to her. She's taking the lanes when she needs to take the lanes. Fearless, not hesitant whatsoever. So you like to see that, especially in a big game like this for her. Sparks start off the second half with the ball, trying to get the ball to Candace Parker. And a lot like Sylvia Fowles on the other end. Candace Parker seeing a lot of attention on the inside.
Now, during halftime, we were talking about Sylvia Fowles and just how well defended she was, especially in that second quarter by LA, just surrounded by multiple bodies.
Candace Parker with 2 on the shot clock. Put on the line. Well, no, they counted a 3. And just like that, has 11 points in double figures. And is the second player on the Sparks to reach double figures, along with Alexis Jones.
Great defense there by TRP.
Candace Parker all the way to the rim. Doesn't get the bucket, but will step to the line for 2. Let's go back to CP3 in this nice move.
Fouls matching up, just drags her out, gets her feet set, the lift off, and you know she's feeling good when you can make a shot like this over Sylvia.
That'll make the highlight reel. 1 on the shot clock, between the legs twice, and step back.
LA only makes 12 free throws a game over the course of this season on average. First half, they were 10 of 12, and already getting back to the line is Candace Parker. And this has been sort of something they need to do a better job of, is playing physical and getting to the line. Doing a good job of it tonight.
Is there anything different that they're doing to get to the line tonight?
Well, they're just being aggressive on the drive and just getting into the bodies.
Nice shot. Timmy Agbinle. And she is one of those players we said the last 7 games that has called her own number, as Candace Parker tried 1 more 3, and that doesn't go for her. Odyssey Sims looking to get things going, only had 3 points in the first half.
Only took 4 shots.
Tip from behind for NECA. And that misses everything for Talbot. Not much to do there, but just get back on defense.
Game's been a struggle for Talbot. She has not made a shot. 0 for 5 overall, 0 for 4 from 3. They count on her to help stretch the floor with three-point production.
Well, she is a three-point shooter, 40%. Scored in double figures twice in this year. She was acquired from Phoenix in May. At 14 points against Connecticut, 16 against New York.
Outstanding defense by Collier.
So Collier's really showing us, I mean, if you're new, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know, what all she can do. A lot of people, she's second in the rookie class as far as scoring, right behind Agumbawale. But she gets things done on either side of the floor.
Certainly one of the best defensive players in college basketball a year ago.
We learned a thing or two from Kobe Bryant as she was with him earlier at the Mambo Academy. Sparks finding the ball. Here's the second half. And Chelsea Gray finding the bottom of the net for another three in the game.
And she knew it when it left her hand.
One of the highest arches I've seen in the game. Talbot tries one more time and continues to struggle from the floor. Chelsea Gray once again, and
but a big part of that is Sid Weiss running the floor hard and just dragging defense with her and then trying to match up as she's coming down the floor, and it is tough to do. We talk about being on fire, and most of the season, swing the ball. It is Chelsea Gray. That beautiful arc goes up and it comes down. And you can see Collier trying to race back. Can't quite get there.
Candace Parker has more points tonight than the previous two games already with 13. And she's been on fire in the second half.
Yeah, two tough games at Dallas and at Chicago. 4 points and 5 points tonight. Looks a whole lot more like herself. Pack mode, getting to the rim, backing out, Sylvia Fowles hits that big shot.
Has to be something in the water here in LA. For them to play so well at home, they want to protect home court. Speaking of water, it might be room temperature as she's talking to NECA. She shared some tidbits with us before the game.
Interesting conversation. Will not drink ice water. Just to get
What's the system?
Yeah, it's not good. Newsflash.
Well, if it works for her, I'm going to try it out, Mary. I'll let you know if you want to wait, if you're hesitant.
And then there's times that you should only drink hot water. No lemon, no tea, just hot water.
Sydney Weiss getting in on the action with a beautiful finish. To push it back up to 18. We're actually 28 here.
You got to do the math.
28 points. Looking at the scoreboard, and coming out of that break, it was a 40-13 run by the Sparks. This is a big reason why.
Beautiful job moving without the basketball. The decisiveness, they deny you high because you're a great three-point shooter. Just keep moving. Her teammates do a great job of finding her aggressive to the rim.
42-13 run by the Sparks. And Sylvia Fowles.
Angel, it's never good when you have to look up and do complicated math.
Oh, man.
When you're carrying numbers and...
Well, besides that one and bringing under. Yeah.
Joe Reed's not enjoying it either. But they have built a cushion. They are +4 games over the next place team. That is Indiana sitting in ninth after their loss tonight to New York.
See how they're sitting in the zone against the Sparks. Candace Parker going to work with the left. .30-point game here at Staples Center. And the Sparks are firing on all cylinders.
They've tied their biggest lead of the season.
Issa, baseline shot is no good. Pulled off a bit since the first half. Had 8 points. Now 4 for 8 from the field. Give and go. But that goes to the Lynx, and obviously Sims leads the charge. And that's what happens Beautiful play in transition for the Lynx when Odyssey Sims is in charge. And that's what the Sparks were trying to prevent all game.
They just haven't had enough of that to really get in what they want to do.
Chelsea Gray trying to get the shot off over Collier. That's a tough task. Grazes the front of the rim.
Sylvia Fowles has not taken a shot in this quarter. Took one shot in the second quarter. And I know defense has a lot to do with it. But Big Sill needs some touches.
Tipped up top by Chelsea Gray. Timmy tries to get it off. Close to dropping, but doesn't. Neko Gumake putting on a clinic.
She doesn't need much space, does she?
I mean, the spin cycle, though. Finishing on the other side as Lexi Brown. It's a deep three. Doesn't go for her, and this is night and day so far from the previous matchup with the Sparks. Candace Parker shot no good. Lexi Brown has 3 points right now, and that's from the three-point line, the one that she got off at the last second. Looking for some help. And there goes your shot from Fowles, man.
A couple people turned down open shots to get Sill involved.
And it's interesting that it didn't come in the paint as well. Just her moving around, finding something that's going to open up for her. Candace Parker gets the one to roll. What's the contact? But I think she can settle for that, too.
You know, it's so interesting as we walk back up to our position. So many people, how's Candace? Is Candace ready? We need Candace to score more. I mean, people are so in tune in this audience to what Candace Parker does each and every game.
She has tied the amount of points that she scored in the previous 3 games. Let that one sink in as Lexi Brown is fouled on the outside from Elena Beer.
Neka puts it on the floor. Angel likes to call it the spin cycle with the finish going left. And then Candace Parker. We've seen that move so many times. The block comes right back and says, hey, how about the foul?
First one for Lexi Brown, and that one is good. Well, if you want to avoid the LA traffic this summer, go Metro, because the LA Sparks in action, which I highly suggest, because if you are in LA, you understand that traffic is not favorable. So the Metro is probably the best thing. My producer said I need a go-kart or something like that. I need more information on this. Fast track. I'll go Metro. Mary, you did say that you were going to go Metro with me one of these games. We have 8 left after this.
I may go Metro tomorrow.
Okay. Well, mark it in your books. We'll take over the IG story. Sims finding a lot of attention on the inside, tried to get it out to Dantas, but turns the ball over. It goes right off her leg.
Odyssey Sims on Sunday at Seattle, 30 points on 11 of 14 shooting. In this ball game today, it has been hard to come by. Just 1 of 5 3 points so far for Odyssey Sims in the return to Staples.
Gray knocks the ball off the leg of Collier with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Approaching the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. And Candace Parker showing off a couple of moves at the top of the key. But not so much on the shot. In and out by Sims, trying to find some type of space and get some offense going for the Lynx. Lexi Brown turns down a 3 to get Dantas one.
Going forward, her continuing to get back to where she was before the injury is going to be really important as Minnesota looks like they're headed to the playoffs.
Missed the 7 games after coming back. But he's been huge as far as her contribution on the offensive end.
The length of Collier on that duck in. Beer trying to wrestle around it, gets called for the foul.
Number 0, Elena Beard, that's her second personal. First in the last 2 minutes.
Just looking at Nafisa and her numbers, 46% from the field, almost 34% from the three-point line, averaging about 12 points. Getting it done with blocks. It's almost 1 a game. I mean,
well, she really made a statement in her rookie debut, didn't she? 27 points in her big game against Chicago. Second best, the best rookie debut ever. Candace Parker, 34 against Phoenix in 08. That's some nice
company.
Yes, indeed.
It'll be interesting as we're at the 1 minute mark here, how the Sparks decide to finish, Mary. A lot of game left. But as we approach the end of the season, what are you looking for your team, especially when you have a lead such as this, to kind of build that consistency?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's important to continue to play hard in this ball game. Plenty of time left. We've seen big leads melt away quickly.
Dantas wants to be a part of the comeback. But instead, gets the charge called. There was nowhere to go. Forcing the action, and Beard just stands her ground. It's great to see Elena Beard back on the floor for the Sparks, a true vet, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, a mentor to Tierra Ruffin-Pratt, who she said even needs to have the head nod for Defensive Player of the Year and how she's handled herself for the Sparks in AB's absence. Double dribble called for Alexis Jones, who has cooled down, hasn't scored. Here still at 15, but still career high. Lynx will take the last shot here in the third quarter. Coming all the way to the rim, but it does not go. Hands in the air, and she wants an explanation. But that is an offensive foul. And once again, we've seen it. Chelsea Gray sacrificing her body for her teams, making no excuses. And that's blocked by Collier.
LA with the big lead as they head into the fourth quarter. Parker getting back to doing Parker-type things. A little step back over fouls. And then the left-handed move on the fade. And then Nneka in the spin cycle. Come on back to Staples for the big finish.
Welcome back, where we have 8 games after this one is finished. And as we said before, the 3 teams that have clinched the spots, Washington, Connecticut, Las Vegas, LA, trying to find their way into that clinch position as well. But what are you seeing, especially in that Minnesota range?
Well, Minnesota has the big cushion, don't they? 4 games over Indiana. The impressive thing about Minnesota, they have already won 4 season series. They have the season series over Connecticut, Las Vegas, Chicago, and Phoenix. All 4 of those teams above them in the standings. Indiana, as they sit in 9th, they're 1-1. LA's won just 2 series so far. Chicago and Phoenix. LA, a lot to play for as far as season series as we wind down.
Out on the line, Mabry checked in for the Sparks. 8 on the shot clock. A little bit more attention to Alexis Jones as she stepped back for 3, but does it count? I think that's going to be no good, as I believe Sims took some time to get off the floor and is still struggling a bit to gather herself.
You mentioned Mabry, her first DNP CD in Chicago. You see a whole lot.
Alexis Jones going for the steal, instead picks up the foul. So that is her first personal. Not seeing a lot of foul trouble on either side. 3 for Candace Parker and 3 for Domness on the Lynx. And Nafisa Collier doing Collier things at this point.
Nice patience.
And just so smooth. I mean,
you mentioned it earlier off air, the 6th overall pick.
Steal. Sparks come up with the steal. Chelsea Gray finding Jones. Little hesitation move. And Sims tries to rip it right away from her, but I believe she's going to get the offensive foul called against her. So 2 quick fouls for Jones.
Derek Fisher trying to get an explanation.
Who has gone on the record and said, I'm going to go to bat every single time for my players.
Saw that on the road trip.
Brown knocking down her second 3 of the game. They actually called it a, what I'm seeing here. Derek Fisher got his first ejection in his WNBA career.
He earned it.
Oh, there you go.
He marched right down there and said what was on his mind. There's been a lot of people speaking their mind about the officiating of late.
A lot of articles, and especially on the inside from the gals on the inside saying, hey, we have to defend ourselves. 5 on the shot clock. A long shot on the outside by Sims. Doesn't go, but it does stay with the Lynx, so it will be reset at 14 underneath.
It's a big defensive possession for Los Angeles. We haven't said that in a long, long time. They built that big 30-point lead, but Minnesota has chipped away.
Big rebound by Chiney Gumake. Jones left alone, hesitated on the shot, which is very interesting. We haven't seen her hesitate previously in this game, and it leads to 2 points on the other end for the Lynx. And just like that, a 30-point lead is now cut to 17 for the Lynx. So that will be a timeout for the Sparks, just to make sure they can get everything back on the same page. Lynx not going away without a fight on a 13-point run before that timeout was called. But in support of the WNBA Breast Health Awareness, visit WNBA.com/assessrisk and put awareness into action to reduce your risk of breast and ovarian cancers. And that's something that's very serious. At any point, I know that someone has a story about breast cancer. I know that my family has gone through our story for it, and for anybody that has a story to share, I know that for the next game, the next home game for the Sparks, we'll be honoring those that have been warriors in that fight.
13-0 run over the last 5:24 for Minnesota. They have knocked a whole lot off that 30-point lead. Big possession for both teams.
And it's what they've been able to do from the three-point line. And just like that, Lexi Brown knocks down another one. And that play was dialed up just for her. How they're getting back in this game? Outside shots.
Well, and LA has not scored in the fourth quarter.
Chelsea Gray short on her shot. But they do get a second look at the basket. Tim here. Shanae blocked underneath by Timmy, but there is a foul assessed on the play.
How often do you see that, though? You get a big lead, everything's rolling, but there's so much time left, and it's hard to maintain that same intensity and keep that same flow going.
And that's why I posed a question earlier, Mary, just being content with the big lead, and they haven't found themselves in this position a lot, so the maturity to fight through it, and where are we going to see that today? The Lynx have fought back as Candace Parker subs in for Maria Badiva.
We talked about the importance of a great start. They didn't have it at Chicago or Dallas. Same thing for the fourth quarter. Chicago outscored LA in that fourth quarter 5 points. Dallas, it was plus 14 for Dallas in that loss.
.15 game. 6:17 left in the ball game. And as the shot clock was winding down, the Sparks bail out Minnesota by fouling on that hedge there.
Third foul on Shanae. Candace Parker has 3, and that's the extent of what you want to call any kind of foul trouble in Los Angeles.
Lexi Brown being a playmaker from outside. And upset that she didn't get that one to go. Collier takes a tumble, trying to save the ball underneath, but it will go to the Sparks. So about 6 minutes left in the game. And the Sparks trying to hold on to advance to their 9th home win. But more than anything, they can't do it with turnovers. Because this happens. Odyssey Sims gets going.
She just pounced on that one. Wait for that reversal and then stepped right in front of Sid Weiss, and you're off to the races. 13-point lead now for Los Angeles.
So is it easier to play with the lead or to make the comeback from 30 down? Lynx have shown us as AB with a big-time shot from the baseline.
Oh, it's easier to play with a lead.
You've seen the shots too, though, the hesitancy, like trying to hold on to the win.
Yeah, but you've got margin for error.
There you go. Johnson dials up. No good for her, but Lexi Brown finds it on the three-point line.
Doesn't waste time, doesn't waste motion. 4 for 9.
Lexi Brown shooting lights out. We saw how she went off the first game with 21. She's 4 for 9 from the three-point line, sitting at 15 tonight. Chelsea Gray gets every point, but doesn't get to fall. And none other than Sims comes out of the pack, goes all the way to the rim, doesn't get it, and an offensive foul is called.
Well, she unloaded on Candace Parker.
The offhand trying to get to the bucket is what we're looking at.
And they're going to take a look at that as well.
We also have a technical foul. Simone Augustus.
And a technical foul was called from the bench. Simone Augustus just heard that it was against her, and she quickly got off the bench and is trying to figure out why. But immediately after they called the foul, the offensive foul on Sims, there wasn't a reaction from the bench, but Simone Augustus still trying to figure out why that was going against her, as Chelsea Gray steps up as the Sparks' best free throw shooter and knocks it down. Deco Gumake checks back in for the Sparks. And Shanae heads to the bench.
Haven't seen Simone Augustus get a whole lot of technicals in her career.
Well, right now, Cheryl Reeve is still trying to figure out from the officials on the side why that was called.
But boy, what a change in this ball game. A 12-point game when that occurred.
So Elena Beard, we know that defensively she gets the job done. Offensively, we've seen more confidence for her in this season.
Oh, she's in terrific shape. We can certainly document that. And it's like she hasn't missed a beat.
Out there, she tips the ball. 5 on the shot clock. You have to do something with it. Steps outside the 3. Finlay for 3. 12-point game. Close to a steal. Nneka Ogwumike to the bucket. Can't convert. Sims turning down the 3, finds Brown, and a foul on the reach-in by Elena Beard. Well, this is starting to look more like the rivalry game that we have grown accustomed to watching. You can never count either team out. Any lead, 30-point lead for the Sparks, and here we are, 12-point game with close to 3 minutes left in the fourth. And Nneka Ogwumike is apparently taking the job from the Pokers. Came out with the mop sweeper.
Number 1, Alexis Jones back in the game.
Alexis Jones is back in the game. Chelsea Gray takes a seat. Chelsea Gray, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist.
We'll have to check back and see if we've had a game where she's only had 1 assist.
3rd in the league in assists. Averaging close to 4 as Candace Parker comes out of the pack. A big-time rebound.
Sylvia Fowles has been sitting for a long time.
Step back by Candace. Dantas may have tipped the ball there. Sims all the way to the bucket. 10-point game. 2:18 left. Mary, this is definitely worth the price of admission. 74-64, 10-point game. Lynx not going away without a fight. The Staples Center, which once was a 30-point lead held by the Sparks, here come the Lynx, not going away without a fight. A big part of that is Lexi Brown, 4 for 10 from the 3-point line.
What a game she has had. She loves playing against LA. Best games of her season. 4 for 11 in this ballgame. 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Got to keep her on the floor. Too many good things happening.
As the graphic shows, her career high was set earlier in the season. 21 points against LA. And she may be feeling some type of way against the Sparks because, once again, you see her just going off.
LA, 6 points so far in this fourth quarter. 2 of 8 from the floor. They have not hit a 3. 5 turnovers.
And the Lynx, 20 points in the quarter, and they bring the pressure out of the timeout. And that's a turnover. A 10-second call. 8-second call, excuse me, for the Sparks, which leads to the 17th turnover for the Sparks.
And the 6th turnover in the fourth quarter. And LA just trying to hold on and get to that final buzzer.
It almost shocked them to see the pressure out of the timeout. Well, no time better to look at the upcoming schedule for the Sparks. They were on the road a lot at the beginning of the season. They do have some time here at Staples Center. The next two against the Fever and Connecticut Sun. Then they go back on the road against the red-hot Mystics. That's going to be on ESPN2. They'll see the Fever again, and then none other than the last visit with Las Vegas Aces. They already have 2 games on them.
That's exactly right, but that's the team they play 4 times. So to win the season series, they've got to beat them a third.
Big game, big stretch here for the Sparks. But we can't look too far ahead because they have a Lynx team. They have their hands full trying to close tonight.
Minnesota's lost 3 of 4, 7 of their last 10. LA's lost 2 straight. That tough road trip at Dallas, at Chicago. And now just trying to hold on. Beard playing extended minutes, up to 18 in this ball game.
There we're at the 2-minute mark. Lexi Brown grazes the front of the rim, but it's very interesting that she even had the open shot.
Well, they ran the elevator play for her, and Beard just couldn't quite get through it.
Penny for the 15-footer. And that shot does not fall. And right now, time is on your hands if you're the Sparks. But they're bringing the pressure. And they get some tips there. Slow them down a bit. Sid Weiss with the in and out. And nothing there. Brown once again. My. Lexi Brown putting on a clinic from the three-point line.
Deep set, great confidence, and not using much time.
Candace Parker looking to answer. Bounces. Much needed for CP3.
People in Staples breathing again.
I'm breathing again. 1 minute left in the game. Nafisa underneath mishandled the ball. Brown finds her again. 2 bodies, no problem. Collier with 2. And now you're looking for the foul.
Yep. Parker responds with the double-double. 20 points, 10 rebounds from deep. And then Candace Parker, they leave her alone, and that is sweet.
Shooter's touch. Chelsea Gray remains with the ball, and it's tough because you got to foul her before that as she yells and 1 to finish.
Add that to the highlight reel. I mean, you've got people just chasing, trying to foul her the whole way up the floor.
But Mary, she is 93% from the free throw line, so you would think to foul her before, but I mean, you can't let her get that shot off.
Well, Collier's trying not to, but the strength of Gray just takes her right to the bucket.
That and 1 by Chelsea Gray as she finishes at the line. Leads to a timeout for the Lynx. 43 seconds in the game. 11-point game.
But it got to 7. From a 30-point lead, and this is what Derek Fisher's talking about. The details. If you're in a position in the playoffs where it's a one and done, you got to clean it up. You got to put teams away. You can't give them life. You can't give them hope.
Nneka Ogwumike told us earlier that when they returned to Staples Center, that of course this is a place that they found success, winning 8 in a row, but it's a sense of pride playing in front of these fans. They're doing it in front of 9,000 plus. And they're going for their 9th.
Parker's 3rd double-double of the season.
Let's see all the way to the rim. They'll give up the 2. And AB gets the ball inside. And a foul. So 5 team fouls for the Lynx, 3 for Sparks.
Stepping to the free throw line for the Sparks, number 0,
Elena Beard hasn't taken many free throws this season, battling with injury. Doesn't get that one to go. Second one, different results.
Missed 14 games, and as you're in the stretch run, she's a player you're very happy is healthy and playing well.
Bounces out to Timmy. No good there. Tipped out of bounds. Goes to the Sparks. But you still see Collier up top, preventing Chelsea Gray from getting the ball. And at this point, Sid Weiss dribbles up the floor, and we will watch this tick away. And the Sparks pick up their 9th straight home win in front of 9,244 fans that are happy to see them respond after that road trip.
LA ends the 2-game losing streak. They move to 16-10. They move ahead of Chicago. They stay in 4th place. And a whole lot of basketball left as we head into the stretch run.
Important to finish strong, and they started here at home for their 9th win in a row. For Mary Murphy and Kirsten Watson, I'm Angel Gray saying so long from Staples Center, where the final